Ooh. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to WrestleSlam, sponsored by the Macau Casino in Cork and Manscaped of Sports Matters TV. And believe it or not, our very own Jerry, the man himself, will not be with us this week on this episode, but we do have the man, the myth, Phil Connolly is with us, and joining us now, our special guest. He is Mr. Blue Tack himself. He is Ray Murphy.
Hello,
Going,
thank
man?
you very much. That was a very good introduction. That was a very powerful, but it's blue tick, not blue tack.
Blue Tick. We are not editing that out, unfortunately. So my mistake.
That is okay. It's a play on Instagram. Joe, everyone gets the tick for verification, so I just put blue tick rather than paying for it. Like,
Yeah. So before we move on, everyone wants to know about yourself. You're well known around Cork. You're well known everywhere you go around the world at this point. But for those, unfortunately, who doesn't know who you are, who is Ray Murphy?
oh, you hyped me up so well, dude. Okay, my name is Ray. I've been a stand-up comic now for about the best part of 4 years. I run a bi-weekly show in Fred Zeppelin's in Cork City called Crew Comedy. I know some people watching might have seen it. Some people might only just be hearing about it for the first time. You can see our full episodes up on YouTube. I myself will host most of the nights along with my best friend and my creative partner, Jack Kirby, who is definitely a lot more of a talent than I am. But when we come together, we tend to put on some really good shows. Yeah, I think that's kind of more or less me. I've done some shows outside of the country, as you said. I've been to the Netherlands and France mainly for shows. Really, really enjoyed those experiences. Yeah, I kind of think that's all about me anyway. I am a gigantic wrestling fan, so guys, thank you for having me on. It's great to be here, and it's great to be on a podcast where somebody wants to talk about wrestling. Because normally, when I get on podcasts, someone will mention I'm a fan, and I'll take over the entire episode and just talk all about wrestling history. So it's good to be on a podcast where we're actually going to talk wrestling.
Yeah, because when we met last time, it was actually when we were seeing a play, and
That's
40% was just,
right.
yeah, 40% of us just catching up. The rest was just you talking
It
about.
was just wrestling talk. Like, yeah, that was the Kathy Barry play in Cork. That was class.
It was. So I actually messaged Jerry and Phil, and it's like, we need to get this guy on board. And Phil, I'm kind of anxious right now because I'm worried the two of you might get to spat some history wrestling facts, lad.
Especially King of the Ring.
Oh
Especially
yes,
so I'm just, if that happens, I'm just gonna like leave the room. Whatever happens, happens, boys. All right.
it's gonna get steamy, Matthew.
Oh, that is a good first impression. No, because real quick, because we kind of talked about this before, but I've always felt like the Irish scene in Ireland and in Cork and the wrestling scene is kind of connected. And is that something you would agree on, Ray?
I would. I think that like especially for Cork, I think that started with the pavilion because when RCW came, because correct me if I'm wrong, was RCW what used to be Phoenix and before that was CCW? It's the
Uh,
same.
It's the
it was,
same sort of people, but not entirely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when like I used to have a show in the pavilion. We had the comedy cabaret. We
Right.
do it now like once every 3 months. But I remember during that, someone talked about a wrestling show starting, and I was like, I remembered when they had the shows in the Kino, and then there was shows up on the north side of the city, but they were all under different names. So
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that like the rebranding for RCW, like with the red, the shield and stuff, to put it in a place like the pavilion is actually brilliant because it gives it the it doesn't like there's no bingo hall vibe to it. It feels like a proper production. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah. And if you remember, it was like Jerry, we had a chance to talk with Billy Bellum, who we have on the show so many times. And when you walk into the pavilion and you see the wrestling ring, of course, we've been to the pavilion before, but you get the ECW Bell a hall.
DCW Arena, like
Yeah, so it is something just to behold, lad. So that's why we always say
mhm.
RCW is the place. And the fact that it's going to be based in Cork, nowhere else, more opportunities for anyone inspiring to be a wrestler. Like we might see Phil in the ring, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
He's
now is
the
that we
everyman.
we need a proper wrestling school in Cork again. I know we've talked
Yeah,
about this with Billy before, and there's no where to train in Cork at the moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what I think what Billy's goal is at the moment,
Yeah,
and he will keep us posted down the line. And like, I'm pulling forward not just because there'd be more wrestling in Cork, it's just because we open opportunities for anyone
yeah,
who still has an interest in wrestling to
yeah,
see what it's all like.
Yeah, Matthew, your point there. You asked me a question there a second ago about like if you think comedy and wrestling in Cork is kind of intertwined, and I actually
Exactly.
agree with you to that point because when what you just mentioned there about there being no proper wrestling school pre-COVID, we had an open mic. It was the one I started with just before the lockdown came in, and that was like the only place people could go to try out stuff.
Mm.
I think at the time anyway. And then when COVID kind of lifted, a lot of people stopped doing open mics and stuff. So what my show actually, how me and Jack started our show was kind of along the same idea of what you have there about there being a proper wrestling school. We wanted to give new comedians an opportunity to try out some stuff, like come in and just say, you can say what you feel, you can say what you wrote down, but it's just something to work on. That's what our show I feel does, and that's what our contribution is to the comedy scene. So I feel like
Mm.
RCW being where it is now, it would give the inspiration for the people who like up and comers, like up and coming young wrestlers. It would give somebody an inspiration to maybe get a school started. I think when I one thing I wanted to say about that is when we first started doing those shows, we felt like maybe it wasn't going to, for some reason, it wasn't going to work out. Like there wasn't going to be anything blossoming from it. And I swear to God, within like maybe 3 or 4 months, it started with us, and then another show opened up, and then another show, and another show, and another show. And now stand-up comedy is rampant in Cork City. We have shows 7 days a week, this whole scene. So I do kind of say like if anybody here is watching this podcast has decided like maybe they have the idea to try and start a wrestling school, just fucking go for it because there are people who will want that 100%. I myself sometimes think about training in wrestling, but I'm also kind of nearly 30, so I don't really know if I have the bone structure for it these days.
I know. Come on now, Ray. I'm we're the same age, and I'm looking at them. I was like, maybe I will. You never know. But no, it's kind of class that that yourself and your buddy Jack Kirby is like you kind of in some way like started a little movement back into comedy in Cork. Like, of course, we had like so many other Cork comedians, based in Cork, like Ross Brown, of course, Tommy Tiernan, and opening these doors for everyone that's actually interested to be on board with comedy, and that's actually amazing, lad. It's like wrestling, opening doors.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all kind of just it's opportunity. Really, that's it. Like I got my opportunity from a guy named Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan. He's smaller earthquake there. He's the guy who kind of started it all for the group of people I'm involved with. So I would more kind of accredit it to him getting it started rather than myself or Jack. But our contribution, I feel, did help, and it helped to create something a bit more substantial in our world. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's the best because I would know people who are big into stand up, and they might come down to Cork just to see you, and just like the word of mouth, like you said. So it's amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
right. So, but you never know. Yeah, maybe yourself, Jack, or whoever's willing to come in to be the next king of comedy in Cork. But we're gonna have a king and queen of the ring this
mm-hmm.
coming weekend. Great segue, I know. In King and Queen of the Ring coming up this weekend in this little independent company called WWE. So, Ray, Phil, want to give your thoughts? What do you think of up and coming King, Queen of the Ring?
It's gone as predicted on TV. There's one or two shocks.
Hmm.
Um, I don't agree with Jade getting herself disqualified bugged me because like you're trying to win a tournament and you use a chair and you're disqualified. It's like
Yeah,
this makes no sense. No sense.
yeah, yeah. It's like I'm really when I think I saw that, I was like, I really hope they're not going to do that with Jade at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
just wondering one thing: who's in the semifinals for the Queen of the Ring?
Nia
From
Jax and Bianca Belair. And tonight on Raw, Io Sky fights our own Lyra Valkyria. Um,
Mm.
so we'll be rooting for Lyra.
Yeah, no matter what, we're gonna have to go with Lyra on this one. You never know she's gonna win the whole thing. We're always gonna
Nia
go with
Jax,
Lyra.
I bet you will win the whole thing.
Yeah, because I'll be such a huge fan of Nia winning the
it's
whole thing.
it's good to see Nia Jax back anyway.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
I'd say just because of her name alone, yeah, I'd say maybe she's the obvious prediction to win. But Bianca Belair though, like she's really like she's the top. Like she is our top talent in the women's division, I think.
mm,
Herself and Jade Cargill having that kind of friendship they formed. I think they've become a bit of a team now, and that's cool to see because like they were like a parallel world thing between WWE and AEW when Jade Cargill was in AEW. So I don't know. I think maybe these finals might not be as predictable, but I could see them giving it to Nia Jax, but as a heel thing, really.
yeah. I hate
Like
to say
maybe
it,
she'll have done like the William Regal moniker kind of thing, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
yeah. You think that she's gonna come out like William Regal and just shut the entire show down?
Yeah.
Oh, just like exactly, but like she just like smash someone off instead. Like I'd love to see her do a promo on the throne the same way he did it, Joe, when he's just sitting and he's like just mad at the audience. Like I think that was, but I feel like they might do that for Nia Jax if she was to win. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like coming dominant force, as known as Queen Nia Jax or Queen Jax, should we say? But
well, she's not like most girls.
yeah, it's in the theme song. Like we need to know that. And so I still like to see Lyra winning. She's our very own. That'll be actually some because believe it or not, there's a lot of people who still doesn't know her from NXT.
Yeah.
So having this big tournament actually win for her, like talking about her. So that's my top prediction, but I can see Nia winning this one if I'm going to be brutally
Yeah,
honest.
they
I'm gonna
like
swear on
them.
this
They like
one.
heels. They always did like heels winning these. Um, it's very, very rare that a face would win. Um,
Yeah, I
Mm,
exactly, but I think it's because like the whole King of the Ring gimmick, getting the crown and the cape. I don't think you could really make that a face thing like successfully.
yeah.
I think the only person that was ever able to don a gimmick like that to make it successful as a face was Jerry Lawler, but at the same time, he was a heel for most of his career. Like,
Mm,
mm, mm. And
mm.
I think we keep forgetting about like Xavier Woods. He was a face, and he just made it more fun for
Yeah.
the last
yeah,
one. So
yeah.
we talked about the Queen of the Ring. Now let's move on to the King of the Ring. It's gonna be the semis is coming up. It is gonna be Gunther versus Jey Uso, and Randy Orton will be taking on Tommaso Tamatonga.
Mm.
Mispronunciation. So, what's everyone's predictions for the semis and the finals?
Gunter and Jey Uso. I think Jey Uso beats Gunter.
You
Mm.
think?
I think he does.
Yeah, yeah. And you can see Jay probably taking on to
Yeah, that's what I was
Tamatonga.
thinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, it's the beginning of the separate bloodline feud.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That this is what Phil does. He thinks of bold predictions that make you really think now, Ray.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking that because I have the semi final like lineup in front of me, and I did not even think about like if Jey Uso and Tamatonga face each other because that's where you could see like I don't know Roman Reigns might have a quick return or like The Rock might come back and it turns out he's the leader of the new bloodline and then Roman will come back a couple of weeks later. I think that would be insane.
Yeah.
And
mm,
for Jey Uso and Tamatonga to be the first match that would kickstart that, I think would be unbelievable. I think it would make for some great television.
And it could go either way.
yeah,
Either or could win.
and
Exactly. Like, did you see Tamatonga's debut match?
Yeah, brilliant.
I did, and it was actually a really good one for him. Like the
Absolute smash. Like, it was incredible. And his
yeah,
entrance, his music was cool too. I loved it.
yeah. Like WWE, I think now that we're in the Triple H era, he knows who he's signing up on. He's
He's
not
doing
giving
it
up
right.
local
Like,
talent. He's like, we know who this person is. We know they're a big deal. We're gonna make them
mm,
big in WWE.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good one. Because I was gonna go for Gunther, to be honest, at this
I,
one.
I, I would have thought so for a long time, but because Jey Uso was screwed around so long, I think Triple H is going to give him a win.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, yeah, I could see, I could still see Randy making the finals because I love seeing Randy Orton, lads. But let's be honest, his streak in the last few pay-per-views besides Survivor Series wasn't the best.
Mm, that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like I want to see like Randy at least getting like I'm not gonna see him win the whole thing, but him in the finals. But Tama Tonga, now you got that idea in my head, Phil. I would love to see that. This is gonna be a bit of a bold one,
It's all
but I think
coming at
Tama
Survivor
Tonga,
Series. That's when the big match is coming.
yeah, with because we said last week's episode, Ray, we said that Roman Reigns is gonna come back, the new bloodline will turn against him, and he's going to team up with The Rock, and that's going to build up to War Games that Roman's going to come back in Survivor Series.
Wait,
So,
you reckon like Solo and Tama will team up with The Rock, like?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
so I think you're saying the same thing as what all the fans want is OG bloodline
Yeah.
and the new bloodline. Like I think that especially for War Games, that would be absolutely insane. They'll probably
mm,
call it something like Tribal Rules War Games or something like that.
It also means a lot because Survivor Series last year wasn't great.
No,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't unfortunately. So I want to see the Survivor Series having good storyline built after it because I want them to see full on build Roman versus Rock for WrestleMania 41, like to make us really more invested with this one.
and we'll finally get the match.
We finally get the match
I
that
think
somebody
just
be
get
excited
on with it
for.
now and get the match over with so that people
Yeah,
move
but
on.
I have to throw this out there. I was one of those fans that did. I actually called. I was not a Cody crybaby. I wanted The Rock and Roman Reigns
Yeah.
so badly, and like I'd have these arguments with fans all the time. They're like, "No, Cody deserves it," and I fully agree that he deserved it. But I also think that like for WrestleMania 40, like for the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, The Rock being in like a main event match,
Yeah.
like he's then main evented 3 different generations of WrestleMania, which is something I don't think many wrestlers have done. Like,
Mm.
so I think there was a more of a different achievement for The Rock there than just waiting one more year for Cody to get the title. Do you
But
know?
I think his night one will count though. I think that will count as a main event.
Yeah, but I think like more, it should have been I really feel like it should have been the two of them. In saying that though, if that did happen, we wouldn't have gotten the final boss, and that was, I think, some of the best work The Rock has done in the history of his career. Like,
Yeah.
Agree. Just like that presence, as in, like, yeah, this is why he's the final boss.
Mhm.
But
the entrance alone, man.
Yeah.
the lightning, the Black Adam like entrance that was saying something like "no joke." Uh,
Donning the old heel theme song as well was a fucking great thing to do.
mm, mm. So yeah, bold predictions for story wise after coming from the King of the Ring. So we're going to risk it. Tama Tonga to win King of the Ring. Let's move on. So that
I think Jey Uso will win.
Jey Uso.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I
Yeah.
think Tamatonga will beat Randy Orton because while he's new, like I think this is his first run with WWE, is it?
Yeah.
It
It's
is,
the other
yeah.
fella
It
Yeah.
is.
that Tio Langa is the other guy. He's the guy that was Camacho.
Yeah. But I feel like putting Tamatonga, especially the way they're building him right now, have him beating Orton, like one of the biggest names in the company, that gives him great credibility then to go to the final and people think like he might actually win. And then
Mm.
I think Jey Uso would take the title. But I feel like it would just be a great boost for Tama, like especially for his first run with the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get people recognized, like we said with Lyra. All right, that was a bit of a bold prediction, lads. So whatever happens, happens. The King of the Ring, babes.
I
So
always
let's
actually
move on.
liked the old shows of the 90s. I know a lot of people hated it towards the end.
What
Uh,
the King of the Rings in
yeah,
the
the
90s.
pay-per-view format, I always liked this. I don't know, I
Yeah,
just thought
yeah,
it was fun.
I
yeah.
think it just went downhill when they decided to put the whole competition on like Raw, let's say, or like at a different pay per view, or like build it out. Like I think you were saying there like a while ago, we might talk about some of these moments. I feel like the last time I ever remember there being giant hype about the King of the Ring was it the year did Brock Lesnar win?
Yeah,
When he
yeah,
absolutely
Yeah.
smashed Rob Van Dam out of it.
yeah.
Like that was by far one of the coolest matches I'd ever seen. Like, and I feel like when that was a pay-per-view, I feel like that was the last time it was big. It had a big feel to it.
Yeah, everything else was kind of just on Raw and kind of there was.
Yeah, it wasn't as big deal. I remember the 90s like King of the Ring. I didn't know why it was a big deal, but now they're treating it like it is superior.
Mm.
But besides the King of the Ring lads, we also got other great matches. We got the Intercontinental Championship. We got Sami Zayn taking on Chad Gable facing Bronson Reed for the triple threat match. What's everyone's predictions for this match?
I think
Gable.
I think he has to win. I think you have to take it off
Yeah.
Sami Zayn.
I can I can see this is a bold one. I'm gonna pull a Phil Conley on this one, but I
Yeah.
can see Sami Zayn was about to pick up the win, but Otis comes out, stops Sami. Sami sees Otis, takes him out. Bronson Reed comes in, takes out Sami, grabs Gable, and pins Sami, and Bronson Reed will join the Alpha Academy, as in he's kind of more replacing Otis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. I
Mm,
can see maybe Otis maybe coming in to try and help Gable, because like I know like in the last few weeks I'm loving Gable's push recently. It's very very Kurt Angle. Like I think that's kind of where people want to see him go. They want to see him have the goofy Olympian gimmick. But I feel like maybe you're kind of onto something there. I feel like maybe Otis will try to help, but then he'll mess up accidentally, and then Gable will just fully turn on him for real. Then like it'll just be and then maybe he'll take Bronson Reed after that.
I just never understood why they haven't put the brothers, the two fellas that were like Team Angle, Team Gable. Um, the guy from NXT that came up recently, the two brothers.
yeah. Oh man. Is that Jason Jordan, is it?
Well, not those, not him, but
No, he's retired, isn't
I
he?
can't remember their names off the top of my head. Those two
But
lads
yeah.
that came up, they were like Team Angle
I think I know him, but
from NXT.
yeah. Oh no, out of my head now. It's gonna once we wrap up the end of the episode, it's gonna come to our minds. But I
Yeah,
would love to
exactly.
see I would love to see because we had Alpha Academy being the heels, but they're kind of being lovable, like goofy heels. Then they're being lovable baby faces. I would love to see them now being heels, but they're taken more seriously, like a proper threat. So when you said Kurt
Yeah.
Angle, we already seen Chad Gable's goofy side, like Kurt Angle. Now we're ready to see the badass version of Chad Gable, the no nonsense.
Park Gable.
Yeah, with the mouth guard and everything like that.
Watch him
And
do a fucking front flip off the stage onto like I don't know. Maybe Abyss might make an appearance. Like
or the Undertaker's gonna come out in a carriage, just like Royal Rumble. And we got the Women's World Championship. Our very own Becky Lynch will be taking on Liv Morgan.
This is a very interesting match because Becky's contract's up
When is it coming up again?
next week.
Oh, bollocks, right. Okay.
Nobody knows if she's re-signed, but I'd say she did. I'd say.
Becky's loyal to the company. She's very much like she is our biggest, like especially for Ireland, she's our biggest named wrestler. But I don't think she, unless it's like for the reasons of like maybe she wants to spend more time with her children or something with her child.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see Becky not re-signing unless it was for something like that.
Yeah. Because I did listen to her audiobook. Very good listen. Even read the book, and she says about how much the family means to her now. And I think she is at that point where if she finds out she needs to retire, she'll take it in because her whole goal was the main event WrestleMania, and she did it.
She's done it multiple times now.
Yeah, so I want to see Becky winning, but I can see Liv Morgan picking up the win with the interference of Dirty Dom himself.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the possibility of that. What I was thinking more was maybe because everyone now knows like the story so far is that like it looks like Dom and Liv Morgan are kind of hiding away together because Rhea Ripley's out injured. I think maybe she's gonna do the classic like her entrance team comes on, she'll come out and she'll stare at Liv Morgan, and then Joe, the schoolgirl, like 1, 2, 3. I kind of feel like something like that might happen more so than Dominic getting involved. But
Yeah.
because like I don't know for sure. Like I know Rhea Ripley's out injured, but they can still have her make an appearance. You know.
They can, yeah, because I could see them as like Dirty Dom, like having the win, and he's trying to persuade the rest of the Judgment Day to have her join the Judgment Day,
Mm. And like
and
maybe they're becoming friends. Like
yeah. Like when Finn Balor trying to get JD on board, and that's gonna lead to a rivalry with Rhea Ripley for the next WrestleMania when she comes back.
I gotta say, JD McDonough, I love him. I love him to bits, but I think the way he came into Judgment Day, it made him look weak.
Mm.
He was like the short guy gimmick for R-Truth to have a fucking bit of banter with while he was being initiated. I think they should have brought in JD first, established him as like a badass in the Judgment Day, and at the same time not wear the bandana the way he wore it. I don't know. I think he kind of looked like he played a bit too much San Andreas back in the day.
Yeah,
Like,
and then he was taking the big bumps in the big match at WrestleMania. You know, he just
Yeah.
looked like the guy that was just fodder for the group.
I
yeah,
love.
he was like the KSI for that event. Like,
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, no, because we saw Joe definitely coming up from OTT. Me and Phil had the chance to meet him actually back in Dublin when Shawn Michaels came in,
Yeah.
and just the presence alone, as he screams like he is going to be making it big. I want to see JD like at least having a breakout moment from the Judgment Day,
Yeah.
like in somewhere, kind of like making his own path
That's the
because
big thing. Once that group ends, where does he go?
yeah, because
yeah,
everyone. You're gonna laugh, but I know everyone's like roasting him, saying he has a big head. I'm just there like, leave him alone. For God's sake, stop it.
Mm.
Leave the boy alone. Uh and but yeah, JD, he's gonna go far. I can see him becoming tag champions with Finn Balor, and they're just gonna be known as the Lad Ray.
I'd love if the Judgment Day did kind of pack up. I would love to see a faction of Balor, McDonough, and Pete Dunne. I think that would be a proper brawler kind of tough guy group. Like I liked when he was what was that gimmick he had there with Sheamus recently, where they made him Irish, but he was like a little. It was like Hornswoggle on steroids.
He was like
Oh yeah, he was like
Butch.
Butch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Butch.
Butch, that was it. Butch. I loved the Butch gimmick, but when he came back, like Joe, like when he came back as the bruiserweight, I feel like it really kind of shot him back to where he's supposed to be in the company right now.
Yeah.
So I do hope.
Yeah.
Butch gave him character, and I think people kind of gravitated to it. I think.
Yeah. I didn't like the Butch gimmick at first. It grew on me.
Yeah.
But then when they actually started slowly introducing him as Pete Dunne again, I'm like, oh yeah, this is who he was. This is a good kind
Yeah.
So we are now moving on to possibly the main event, which is the Grand Slam Championship main event, which is Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. Cody Rhodes is going to win this. I'm just going to do that right now.
Has to.
Well, it's kind of telegraphed after they took out the US belt on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think that was such a bad move.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of hoping. What have we left now before? We have Raw tonight, do we? Or is it today Tuesday?
Yeah.
We do. Yeah, we post on Tuesdays after Raw.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get Raw and we get SmackDown this week to have the ability to maybe change that stipulation again.
Yeah.
It might be. I don't know. Cody. I feel like maybe Cody gets an opponent of Logan Paul's choosing, and if he beats him, the stipulation goes back to both titles on the line, because I don't think they can do it with just one title on the line, because I feel like they hyped up the idea of title versus title. I think you hyped it up too much to just take it away last minute.
Yeah. I could definitely see Cody has to win this one, because if Logan wins, lads, it's going to be uproar.
No, Cody Rhodes is going to have a long reign, I'd say.
Yeah, you can't just beat Roman Reigns and then lose your title. Like that's like that would be along the lines of like when Rey Mysterio won the World Heavyweight title and they just put him in squash matches and had a short title reign. Do you know? Absolutely. I feel like they can't do that to Cody Rhodes.
There was There was a story came out today about Cody Rhodes looking for a new manager. I don't know how true.
Really?
Yeah, he said it himself on Twitter.
Oh,
But there was a rumor that Jesse Ventura has signed with WWE.
what about
Oh,
Arn
Yeah,
Anderson?
I think he's
Aaron
either
Anderson would be a good pick, but Jesse Ventura, like that voice, man. Imagine him hyping up like the new Mr. America, basically. Like
yeah.
that'd be like the golden era is back. Like
Yeah. Just the taste of the golden era for everyone. The old audience will actually like feel that, like,
He'd
and I feel
definitely
like
make a star, yeah. He'd make a star, Jesse.
you know.
yeah. I also feel like if Jesse Ventura became Cody Rhodes' manager, that's a really good opportunity to make a Winged Eagle belt for Cody. Because I know a lot of people were thinking that when he wins the title, that he was going to get a new belt.
Yeah.
And some people were thinking he was going to go back to the classic Winged Eagle from the 80s, 90s. So, like, I think that would be a good opportunity to just slide that one in there then.
Yeah, because that's always been a rumor. Right, so lads, before we wrap up, because we're out of time right now, I'm going to put us all on the spot right now. What's everyone's favorite King of the Ring moment and King of the Ring winner? Phil, starting with you.
Owen Hart winning.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
yeah, I think that's actually my favorite moment as well.
yeah. Oh, what if Owen Hart's great, like, because she was like, because he was still in the known as Bret Hart's brother trying to break out, so this is a
Yeah.
big one for him.
Yeah, so
You know,
for
there's a story, right, that a lot of people don't know this, but Bret Hart won the King of the Ring twice.
he's won
Bret
it
Hart.
twice.
Yeah, but it wasn't televised. It was like a non-televised event. He won it in 1991.
Oh,
Wow.
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look into that after this.
Yeah.
That sounds
Well, it
that sounds
wasn't
interesting.
televised or was on nothing. I don't even know. It might be on the network. I don't think it is, but it wasn't showcased anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ray, what about yourself? Favorite King of the Ring moment?
My favorite. Okay, I have two, and I mentioned one earlier, and that was the basically Brock Lesnar squash match on RVD for King of the Ring. That's for me. That's a nostalgic thing. That's something I remember way back when. But my actual favorite like moment would have been if you took them and then flipped the kind of script on it. The first King of the Ring when Bret Hart he rolled up Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Was that? Am I right?
Oh, Bam
Yeah.
Bigelow. Bam
Bam
Bigelow.
Bam Bigelow. Yeah, sorry. I was just picturing a really big guy, but like that. I feel like that moment that was like just especially for it being the first one, like to do something that spectacular during a time where you didn't really see much like the kind of maybe the little guy overcoming the big guy side of things in WWE like you do have now. I think it made it a more of a special moment that he was able to do that.
Yeah, and I think mine has to be when Stone Cold won the King of the Ring with the iconic
Austin 316.
Austin 316, because people are still talking about that up to this day. What's kind of funny was Triple H was originally meant to win that King of the Ring, but the infamous curtain call happened.
Curtain call.
And it's always what if Triple H won and we never got that Austin 316 promo, and it was just something badass about not wearing the crown, not wearing he's just being awesome.
I think I quote. I actually quote Triple H when I say this. If Austin 316 never happened, we'd all be working for Ted Turner right now.
Ooh, bold move by Triple H, lads. But yeah, that's how we're gonna end it, lads. But we started off having this conversation. We're gonna end this conversation, and that's RCW. Say hello to my little friend. And on the 15th of June, it's going to be in the heart of Cork in the Pavilion. Get your tickets now. And I'm going to quickly list off the matches right now. It is going to be Owen Richards taking on Flash Morgan Webster for the RCW.
That's going to be a cracker of a match.
That is going to be a cracker. Like it says, the Savior himself is back in Cork defending his world title. The Rebel X Division title is going to be online. It is going to be Andy Steele, Martin Steers, Mark Haskins taking on the champion himself, Robbie X. And we are going to have a bit of an epic rivalry on our hands. It's going to be Billy Bedlam taking on Raven Creed.
Ooh.
Some unfinished business there. And I cannot give you my predictions, lads. because whatever happens on RCW happens.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we are hoping to see you there. RCW, say hello to my little friend at the Pavilion, the 15th of June. Get tickets now. If you're not, what's wrong with you? That's all we're going to say. So, Ray, thank you for coming on. Do you have any closing words for us?
No, just thank you very much for having me on. It was great to be on it. Like I said, it's great to be on a podcast where I could discuss something that's actually really a big impact on my life was wrestling. Wrestling took me through a lot of my childhood years, my teenage years, and I'm still a fan to this day. So it's great to always meet people who share that same love that I have for it. And thank you. And like I said, I run a comedy club every second Wednesday of the month. It's called Crew Comedy. Our next show is this Wednesday at 9 o'clock in Fred Zeppelin's. That's 8 Parliament Street. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me on, and might see you again.
We won't say goodbye. We'll talk to you soon, Ray. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and stay classy. Always stay classy, lads.